Hi everybody, this is Jean-Charles Compagnon with the KiOui apps. Today I want to show you how to do testing on your items traffic with Ki Googalytics and Google Analytics. As you know, testing is the key to know your market. You often hear that you should be testing this or that, but really, how do you do testing on just one item or two items and check your traffic? It's a little complicated. So today I'm going to try to show you how to do this with this Ki Googalytics apps. So the first thing we're going to do is from eBay, we're going to go into our Google Analytics and we're going to set this up. Now this isn't my account that I've already set up. I've already set up an account which I'm going to use here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select and create a new profile to track my test. So this profile, I'm going to call it test1.ebay.com. This is going to be my test. I'm going to use GMT -8 Pacific time, even though I'm not in Pacific time, I'm in Central time, but I'm going to use -8 because it matches the time that eBay uses because eBay is on the Pacific coast. So I'm going to go and highlight this while I'm at it, and I'm going to create the profile. I'm going to go to the filter, and I'm going to create a new filter. I can call it the same thing, where I'm going to include only traffic to the host name, this. And this is important because I'm going to use this later to filter my traffic so that only traffic to that item or to that couple of items that I want to test will be recorded. And I'm calling it test1@ebay.com. And I'm going to save that. So my profile has been created and I can start recording things. Now how am I going to record this? I'm going to go to the Ki Googalytics app that you would have to be previously registered to. And I'm going to log into it. And I'm going to go to config miscellaneous. I already have my property ID, which by the way matches this number here. You probably don't want to use mine, otherwise you're going to be sending me traffic, but you want to use yours. And here, instead of miss.example.com, this is where I'm going to paste that test1.ebay.com that I've copied. Here, I'm going to do the same here. And I'm going to call this, for example, instead of my item at somewhere, I'm going to call it test1. And I'm going to save. This created here some code that I can add to my listing to then track that listing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to eBay, and I'm going to go to one of my items that I want to track for my testing. So I'm going to go to that active item. Come on, there you go. And I'm going to go run a test on this item here at auction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a sell similar. It copies everything. That's really practical. I'm going to change the title a little bit because it's the Halloween season. So I want to drive traffic to my item. So let's see. There you go. Have some more character. There. So I'm going to leave everything, all of the item condition, everything that's being set properly. I'm going to create, I'm going to change that to be an auction. And I'm going to start it at 1 cent, $24.99 buy it now price. because I want to test how auctions are doing on eBay. eBay changed some things lately, so I just want to make sure, you know, free shipping. I want to see how auctions are going to work for me and how this particular auction for this particular item is going to perform to see if this is even a good deal for me. So now that my listing is ready to be submitted, I don't want the 10 days. I'm going to make it a 7-day auction. Actually, let's make it a 5-day, because today I'm testing the 5-day auction instead of 7-day. And what you can do, you know, I'm showing you this with one example, but what you're going to want to do is to run multiple examples at the same time, and maybe, for example, compare how the exact same item or a different item, you know, at auction starting at 1 cent with $24.99, how it will compare with traffic with 3 days or 1 day or 5 days, for example. So I'm going to leave this one to 5-day. And I'm going to go back to my description, and the standard description is this, but I'm going to use the HTML tag here. And I'm going to go back to my application, and I'm going to copy this code that I created with test 1, and I'm going to put it wherever I want in my description. It does not actually display anything. And I'm just going to paste it right under there. There you go. That's my tracking number. You can see that it's a little bit complicated, and I'm not going to go into details. But I'm going to go and simply list this item now. So I'm going to continue. Hopefully I didn't make any errors. Buyers left pictures. We knew that. And I'm going to submit this listing. So now that this listing has been submitted, there's a tracking code into it. I'm not going to go look at it because I don't want to affect my, my analytics of this item. But if I go back to Google Analytics and go to the standard reporting, for example, you can see that I'm inside my test 1. It's obviously not going to report anything, but later on I will be able to come back here and see who visited this item at auction, what is my, my target. Now, I'm thinking that I'm going to want to compare this between a 3-day auction and a 5-day auction. So, just for the heck of the test, I'm going to go back to my admin, and I'm going to create a new profile that I'm going to call test2.ebay.com. That was actually a really good idea to test those between 3-day and 5 days. And by the way, we're Friday today, so that might make a difference, you know, when you're listing as well. I'm going to go to filter, and I'm only going to record what includes traffic to the host name. This. I saved. I'm going to go to Ki Googalytics. I'm in the misconfiguration. I'm going to change that to test2. And you could add that code if you want to test a bunch of items together. You could just add the same code to those bunch of items. Here I got the code. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back to my item. And let's see, active item. And instead of a blue one, I'm going to take this one, the second one, and I'm going to sell similar. Change the title a little bit. There. Sexy, everybody likes sexy. Alright, and I'm going to add my code that I just copied to this new item. Now you can see that this one is test2, and really all it does is it's going to separate the data. I'm going to come here, and so So let's see, online, 1 cent, $24.99, and now I'm going to select 3 days. So exact same policy, exact same thing, fairly close to the same time of listing. I've added this tracking number, so now one item is going to be tracked under test 1 and the other one is going to be tracked under test 2. Same shipping, same thing, very similar listing time. Buyers still love photos, we knew that. And I'm going to submit this listing. There you go. So now from Google Analytics, I have two profile that I can go to. Oops, wrong one. I can go to test 1 or test 2, and test 1 and test 2 will give me a graph of that first item and that second item. Now I selected test 1. Maybe it's not very smart. Maybe I should have put the item number into it so that I know which one my test is, or if it's, you know, the 5-day or 3 days. So basically, you know, right here, if instead of test 1, I would have put maybe 5-day auction as the name, it would have helped me to recognize it. But, you know, this is just to show you how this works. So I'm going to let this run for 5 days, and I'll make a follow-up video to show you the results and the graph that we get and what you can do with those graphs. Thank you. We are now a couple days later, and I want to show you the result of this test that we did, the test 1 and test 2. So just to remind you, test 1 was this auction that is done. We started at 1 cent with $24.99 pricing, ended up selling for $11.55 with 17 bids, and this was a 5-day auction. Starting at 1 cent, popular item. This is the Halloween season. There's no reason that shouldn't sell. And it got 17 bid. Now, the test 2 that we were running is with this other auction that sold for a similar price, but with 8 bid. And this was just a 3-day auction. Same thing, started at 1 cent and $24.99. Now you can already see some difference where the 3-day auction got a similar pricing or a similar winning bid with only 8 bids, whereas the 5-day auction got it with 17 bids. So more interest. What we can learn from that is that even though somebody didn't buy it, we now have 17 potential buyers, or 17 bids, not necessarily buyers, but we have more interest into our 5-day rather than our 3-day. Now let's see what we can tell from the analytics. So if I go now back to my Google Analytics and I look at the traffic that was recorded for test 1, I can see, and I switched it to hourly, and I just took a period of time. Let's see, maybe we can take that down a little bit from the 28th to the to today, which is the 3rd. And you can see what we're learning is that we got 55 unique visitors, and a lot of them were from the US. We got somebody, oops, let's go back. We got somebody from Spain to look at it, and somebody and a few people from Russia to look at it. But for comparison, I switched here to page view, and we can see that we got some page view over the length of the item without really any too much downturn. I guess it was, you know, fairly regular. And you can see that at the end, as the item is ending, we got a peak of interest here. Oops, there, where we got 4 page view as the item was close to be ending. Now, if we go to our test, so this was the 5-day item. So now if we go to our test 2, we can see that we got a lot less page views and a lot less visits, because this was a 3-day auction. So the thing that we can realize from this is that really, for me, there's no interest into running an auction for just 3-day rather than 5-day. And I probably would want to run that test for 7 days as well. But the 3-day is really not going to work for me because I got less visits. And, you know, people could say, well, that was pretty much expected, you know, if you run an auction later. But nothing is really expected with eBay traffic. Another thing that you can see is that in both cases, as the auction was going to end, we got a lot of traffic. Those are snipers, potentially snipers, or because we got more exposure within eBay as it ended. So really what this test is telling me is that there is no particular reason why I would run a 3-day auction rather than a 5-day, starting on the same day and starting on the exact same thing. So I hope this helps. And if you have any question, feel free to run your own test with Ki Googalytics, and we're happy to help you with anything. So feel free to comment and ask some question. Thank you.